Airports are meant to keep us safe, but what customs agents have uncovered is pure madness. From a live tiger cub drugged and stuffed in a suitcase to 600,000 eels wiggling inside carry-on bags, these aren't just illegal, they're deeply disturbing. Brace yourself for the 20 most disturbing things seized at airport customs. Number 20. Bug bites gone wrong. Customs officers at LAX just pulled off one of the weirdest busts ever. And no, we're not talking about illegal meds or fake handbags. We're talking live beetles. Yep, actual bugs stuffed inside snack packs. For real? This went down when a traveler coming in from Asia thought he could sneak 37 live beetles into the country. And not just tossed into a bag, nah, these little guys were tucked inside Japanese snack packages like it was no biggie. Talk about a crunchy surprise, huh? But here's where it gets even wilder. These weren't your everyday backyard bugs. We're talking exotic beetles. Some of them aggressive, some considered pests, and a few even banned in the US altogether. Customs and Border Protection were like, nope, not today, and flagged the whole thing instantly. Turns out, smuggling critters like this isn't just quirky, it's a major threat. These beetles could mess with crops, spread diseases, or even throw the local ecosystem way out of whack. One wrong move and boom, ecological chaos. No cap. Now the packages were labeled as legit food items, but inside, a whole dang beetle party. Makes you wonder, who actually comes up with this stuff? Like, was this dude just bored or what? Anyway, big props to the customs squad for keeping it locked down. Because while these beetles were trying to snack their way into the country, LAX was not having it. Kind of makes you think, next time you're at the airport, what else could be hiding in someone's chips? 19. Seahorses in a suitcase. This one's straight up bizarre. Customs agents at Detroit Metro Airport found something in a passenger's luggage that had everyone doing a double take. 55 dead seahorses. Yeah, you heard that right. A whole squad of dried up seahorses packed up like souvenirs. So here's the scoop. A traveler coming in from the Philippines gets flagged. And when agents open the bag, bam, dozens of tiny dried seahorses tucked away in plastic. Kinda sus, right? Turns out these little creatures weren't for show. They were likely meant for use in traditional medicine. Apparently, in some parts of the world, seahorses are used as a natural remedy for everything from asthma to, well, other stuff. We'll keep it PG. But here's the real deal. Smuggling seahorses like that is totally illegal. They're protected under international law, and hauling them around like airport snacks can land you in serious trouble. The US is part of a global treaty that protects endangered species, and seahorses are high on that list. So, yeah, not exactly a chill move. Customs officers weren't playing. They seized the goods and handed the case over to wildlife officials. No biggie for the traveler, apparently. They were warned, not arrested. Still, it's a straight-up wild story. Makes you think, who wakes up and goes, you know what I'm packing today? A bag full of dead seahorses. Like, what even? Number 18. Snakes on a traveler. Just when you thought airport security had seen it all, someone rolls into Miami International Airport with snakes in their pants. No, not a metaphor, not a movie, just Florida being Florida. TSA agents at MIA were doing routine screening when they noticed movement. That's never a good sign when it's coming from someone's trousers. A closer look revealed the truth. 7 live snakes and 3 tortoises stuffed into nylon stockings, all hidden inside one man's pants like he was smuggling socks, not actual reptiles. This wasn't some weird prank or rogue zoo enthusiast. Authorities believed the animals were part of an illegal exotic pet trade operation. That means this guy wasn't just trying to sneak a pet home. He was likely planning to sell the animals on the black market. Gross and dangerous. Let's be real. Smuggling live animals on a commercial flight is straight up reckless. Not only is it cruel to the animals, who were clearly distressed and crammed into tight, unsafe spaces, it also puts passengers and staff at risk. Imagine sitting next to that dude and hearing hissing from the seat next to you. Hard pass. Officials quickly seized the reptiles, and the man was hit with legal charges. Wildlife trafficking isn't just sketchy, it's a major threat to ecosystems and species already at risk. As for TSA, that morning shift definitely went from routine to reptilian chaos real quick. Number 17. Tiger in a tote bag. Some people overpack, others try to smuggle a tiger. That's exactly what happened at Bangkok airport, where stunned security officials opened a suitcase and found a heavily sedated 3-month-old tiger cub hidden among stuffed animals. Yeah, you read that right. A real live tiger in a suitcase. Here's how it unfolded. A woman heading to Iran checked in her bag like it was just another Tuesday. But when it ran through the X-ray machine, officers spotted something weird. One of the stuffed toys had a skeleton. That's when they realized this wasn't plush. It was purring. Or at least it would have been if it wasn't doped up and barely conscious. Officials immediately stepped in, pulled the cub from the bag, and rushed it to a wildlife center for emergency care. Thankfully, the tiger survived, but the whole scene left everyone asking, who does this? Turns out, this wasn't just a random act of insanity. Authorities believe it was tied to the exotic pet trade, a shady, multi-million-dollar black market where rare animals are bought, sold, and often mistreated for profit. Baby tigers can go for tens of thousands, especially in places where owning a wild animal is seen as a status flex. But let's be clear, this wasn't bold, it was brutal. Drugging a baby animal, stuffing it in a suitcase, and hoping it survives a long-haul flight? That's not gutsy, that's cruel. The woman was arrested on the spot and the cub is now safe. But the story's a harsh reminder that wildlife trafficking is as real as it is horrifying. Number 16. Birds in a blowout. This one's straight up unhinged. TSA agents at JFK Airport were doing their routine luggage checks when they came across something odd. A bunch of hair curlers. Seemed harmless until they looked closer. Inside those curlers, 70 live finches. Yeah, birds. Crammed into curlers. The passenger flying in from Guyana tried to pass off the stash like it was part of a beauty kit. But this wasn't about hair. It was about high-stakes bird singing. No joke. These finches weren't smuggled in for pets or pet stores. Word is, they're used in underground bird singing competitions, mostly among certain communities in New York. People actually bet money on which bird belts out the best tune. Sounds like a Pixar plot gone wrong, but it's real and dark. Each tiny bird was jammed into a plastic curler, barely able to move, breathe, or survive the trip. Beyond being cruel as hell, it's completely illegal. U.S. Customs swooped in, seized the birds, and slapped charges on the guy. Animal trafficking laws? Fully in play. And get this, it's not even the first time this has happened. JFK has had several cases like this over the years. Apparently, there's a black market for melodic finches. Who knew? It's equal parts bizarre and sad. Smuggling birds in hair curlers isn't clever. It's straight-up animal abuse. Hopefully, the birds get care. As for the smuggler, he's probably not singing anymore. Number 15. Eels on a plane. It started like any other day at Heathrow, until customs agents found a shipment packed with live eels. Not a few, not a tank, 600,000, one man, one flight, one very illegal seafood operation. So here's the tea. These glass eels were packed up in dozens of plastic containers, stashed inside luggage like they were just bottles of shampoo. But when customs agents opened that bag, boom, wiggling, slippery chaos. Bet they weren't ready for that jelly. Turns out these little guys are a hot commodity in the black market, especially in parts of Asia, where they're raised on fish farms and sold for serious cash. We're talking millions in illegal profit. But here's the thing. European eels are endangered, and trafficking them is a major environmental crime. Authorities swooped in fast. The eels were seized and safely released back into the wild, and the smuggler faced criminal charges. Bet he wasn't expecting his fishy side hustle to land him in court. It's wild how far people will go to cash in on wildlife. Eels in a carry-on? That's next-level hustle, but also totally illegal and seriously damaging to ecosystems. Number 14. Caterpillar contraband. So here's one for the what the hell files. Airport security at Gatwick opened a suitcase and found 94 kilos, over 200 pounds of dried caterpillars. Not drugs, not clothes, just straight up bugs. Somebody wasn't just packing snacks, they were importing a whole pantry. The traveler had arrived from Burkina Faso and rolled through customs like everything was chill. But when officials popped the bags open, they were hit with a wall of mopane caterpillars, Africa's famously protein-packed insect delicacy. No labels, no warnings, no paperwork. Just bags and bags of crunchy dried bugs. Now before you gag, mopane caterpillars are a legit food source in parts of southern Africa. People eat them like beef jerky, high in protein, low in fat, and totally normal in the right context. But here's the thing. Importing that kind of food into the UK without declaring it or meeting food safety standards? Huge red flag. Authorities said the haul was likely intended for sale. And at 94 kilos, this wasn't someone bringing back a snack for the family. This was bulk inventory, an underground bug business, probably hoping to cash in on niche markets. But without proper packaging, permits, or health inspections, the whole stash was seized. UK food laws are strict, especially when it comes to exotic imports. No matter how nutritious, you can't just sneak in a suitcase full of unregulated snacks. Impressive dedication to the hustle? Sure. Legal or safe? Not even close. Number 13. Cookie dough gone rogue. Cookies? Anyone? Just kidding, these were laced with. Customs officers at Philly's airport busted a woman trying to smuggle inside baked goods, because apparently trafficking is now a dessert trend. So here's how it played out. She arrives on a flight from Guyana with a box of cookies. TSA runs it through the scanner, and something just ain't adding up. Turns out, these weren't your grandma's chocolate chip specials. Inside? Lots of it. Almost 4 pounds, all packed neatly into those innocent-looking treats. And get this, officials said the packaging was made to look totally normal. Like if you glanced quick, you'd think, sweet, someone brought snacks. But nope, these were more bump than biscuit. Customs didn't waste a second. They bagged the evidence and handed the case over to Homeland Security. The woman? She was arrested right there on the spot. No sugarcoating that outcome. What's wild is how creative these smugglers are getting. We've seen snakes in pants, birds in curlers, and now cookies. The airport hustle is getting straight up ridiculous. Number 12. Spiders in the suitcase. Authorities at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport got way more than they bargained for during a routine baggage check. 200 live tarantulas stuffed inside a suitcase. And that's not even the whole story. It started when a German couple flying in from South America was flagged for a luggage inspection. Seemed standard until agents opened the bag and found dozens of plastic containers, each one crawling with giant hairy spiders. No warning, no paperwork, just 8-legged nightmares packed like souvenirs. But wait, it gets worse. Alongside the tarantulas were millipedes, grasshoppers, beetles, basically the full cast of a bug horror show. A total insect invasion, completely undeclared and illegally transported. According to officials, the creatures were likely bound for collectors or breeders in Europe's exotic pet trade. And while it might sound like a niche hustle, it's a serious crime. Transporting wildlife without permits violates international regulations, harms ecosystems, and puts animals through brutal conditions, crammed in containers without air, food, or care. Customs confiscated the entire creepy stash and charged the couple. No word yet on what kind of fines or legal action they'll face, but one thing's clear. You can't smuggle half a rainforest through customs and expect to walk away. Number 11. Bats in the bag. TSA agents at Atlanta's airport were definitely not prepared when they cracked open a bag and found the stuff of horror movies. Now here's the wild twist. This wasn't some random wildlife smuggler. Nah, the passenger claimed to be a fan of The Walking Dead and was supposedly carrying the bats as part of a cosplay or some kind of tribute. But yo, real dead bats? That's not fandom. That's freaky. TSA wasn't having it. Dead animals, especially ones like bats, are a big no-no. Not just because it's nasty, but because bats can carry serious diseases, and transporting them like souvenirs is a legit health risk. So yeah, those bats were confiscated on the spot, and the CDC even got involved. And just so we're clear, Bringing fake bats for a costume? Cool. Bringing the real thing? Nah, that's how you end up on a watch list. Get ready for today's mystic topic. We've seen weapons, even exotic animals, but nothing tops the most disturbing thing seized at airport customs like this. Rows of newborns packed into black industrial containers tagged and lined up like cargo. Who put them there? And where were they headed? This image raises more than eyebrows. It raises terrifying questions about what's really flying under the radar. What's your take? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to mention #MysticTopic. Number 10. Lobster luggage surprise. It wasn't dinner. It wasn't cargo. It was a passenger. TSA agents at Boston Logan discovered a 20-pound live lobster tucked inside someone's checked bag. Apparently, this crustacean travels in style. Now, believe it or not, flying with lobsters isn't totally against the rules, as long as they're packed right. But a giant crustacean just hanging out in a checked bag. That's definitely not what TSA expects when they unzip your luggage. The wildest part? The passenger actually did everything by the book. The lobster was packed in a cooler with ice packs, and TSA was like, well, okay then. Agents even said it was the largest lobster they'd ever seen at an airport. Talk about carry-on clout. Still, it had everybody doing a double take. Like, who books a flight and says, yeah, I'm bringing Larry the lobster with me? That's next-level seafood dedication. Number 9. Crockhead carry-on. Of all the souvenirs to bring back, this guy chose a crocodile skull. TSA at Delhi Airport were less than thrilled when they found a baby crockhead tucked inside a Canadian passenger's bag, because obviously, that's normal. Here's how it went down. Security was scanning bags when they spotted something that looked off. They opened it up and boom, crocodile skull. Not fake, not plastic, a legit bone-dry reptile dome. Now here's the kicker. He didn't even try to hide it. Just had it wrapped up, no documents, no permits, nothing. Authorities were like, nah, this ain't it. Because yeah, carrying wildlife parts, especially from protected species, is a big no-no under international law. India don't play when it comes to illegal animal trafficking. Wildlife officials got involved immediately, and the guy was arrested under the Wildlife Protection Act. He claimed he bought it as a souvenir. But like, bruh, you couldn't just grab a t-shirt? Number 8. Fake flex fail. This one's all about that fake drip. Customs officers at Dublin Airport pulled the plug on a serious fashion scam when they seized a massive haul of counterfeit designer clothes. We're talking knockoff everything. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Nike, Adidas, you name it, it was in there. So here's the deal. This wasn't just one suitcase with a shady hoodie. Nah, it was over 300 pieces of fake high-end gear packed like someone was opening up a bootleg boutique. Everything looked flashy from a distance, but up close, straight up phony. Authorities clocked the fake flex instantly. Stitching was off, tags were sus, and let's be honest, when your Prada logo looks like it came from a high school printer, it's game over. And this isn't just about style. Selling counterfeit goods is big-time illegal. It hurts legit brands, dodges taxes, and sometimes even fuels organized crime. So yeah, customs don't just slap your wrist for this. They seize the goods and press charges. What's wild is that some folks think they can sneak past with fake labels like it's no biggie. But trust, airport security's got an eye for fakes. You ain't fooling nobody. If your suitcase is full of designer and none of it came from a store, that's a one-way trip to busted. Fake flexing might be cheap, but it'll cost you. Number 7. Bow in the bag. TSA agents at Tampa International were shook when they found a 4-foot-long boa constrictor inside a woman's carry-on. And get this, she claimed it was her emotional support animal. Bruh. What? So here's the rundown. The woman was flying with a snake named Bartholomew. Yep, he had a name. Coiled up in her bag like he was ready for takeoff. She didn't try to sneak it either. She actually declared it as an emotional support pet. Gotta give her credit for confidence, but TSA wasn't feeling it. They flagged the bag, opened it up, and boom, Bartholomew the boa just chilling like, what's up? Turns out airlines don't exactly vibe with giant snakes slithering around in the cabin. No biggie for her though. TSA told her to hit up the airline, and guess what? They said absolutely not. And let's be real, a boa constrictor in a pressurized cabin, that's a no from everybody. Comfort animal or not, most folks don't want to play Snakes on a Plane, the remix. Emotional support is cool and all, but maybe stick to a dog, cat, or heck, even a hamster. Bringing a boa in your bag? That's not calming, that's chaotic. Bartholomew's not flying the friendly skies today. Number 6. I smuggle gone wrong. Tech lovers, this one's straight up bold. A man in China got busted trying to smuggle 66 iPhones. And how did he do it? He strapped them all over his body like some kind of Apple-themed Iron Man. Yeah, you can't make this up. So here's the scene. Customs officers at the Hong Kong-Shenzhen border noticed the guy walking kinda stiff, like robot stiff. No swing in the arms, legs barely moving, super sus. They pull him aside and boom. Dozens of iPhones taped around his chest, waist, thighs, even down to his calves. Dude was basically a walking Apple store. Now, smuggling phones into China is a known hustle because of high resale value and taxes. But 66 of them? That's not low-key. And he thought wearing baggy clothes would hide the stash. Nah, the weight alone probably had him walking like he was carrying bricks. Authorities said the phones were all different models, some new, some old, but all sealed and ready for the black market. Spoiler alert, he didn't make it past the gate. Customs unwrapped him like a Christmas present. If you're clanking with every step, you're definitely doing the most. iPhones taped to your body? That's not a flex, that's a full-on fail. Smuggle smarter. Or maybe just don't smuggle at all. Number 5. Gold in disguise. If you're going to smuggle $10 million worth of gold, subtlety matters, and these smugglers went full Mission Impossible. Customs officers in Hong Kong uncovered a stash of 146 kilos of gold ingeniously disguised as air compressor parts. Not fake parts, realistic, custom-shaped, painted parts. That's not just smuggling, that's engineering. It started when inspectors noticed something fishy about a cargo shipment coming through the port. The air compressors looked legit but felt unusually heavy. Suspicious, they cracked one open. Inside? Not coils or pistons, just solid, gleaming gold tucked inside metal shells. The gold wasn't just stuffed in there either. It was molded and machined to mimic mechanical components. This was industrial cosplay taken to a whole new level, all to dodge taxes and quietly funnel the goods from Japan into mainland China. Authorities say the shipment had zero documentation linking it to gold. No stamps, no serials, no red flags, just anonymous wealth hiding in plain sight. Smuggling precious metals is nothing new, but this level of detail, that's rare. It's the kind of scheme that takes brains, money, and nerves of steel. And yet they still got caught. The takeaway? When your plan involves turning gold into fake machine parts, you're either a genius or about to make headlines. In this case, it's both. Number 4. Lizard mail gone wrong. The Postal Service delivers a lot, but maybe not live reptiles. Australian officials stopped a bizarre smuggling plot involving shingleback lizards in boxes and 2 men who seriously misunderstood how shipping works. So here's what happened. Officials in Western Australia noticed some packages headed overseas that were moving a little too much. They opened them up and boom, 16 live shingleback lizards stuffed into tiny boxes like they were books or electronics. No water, no ventilation, just a rough ride for these chunky little reptiles. Now, if you don't know, shinglebacks are kind of like the tanks of the lizard world. Thick bodies, armored scales, and super slow vibes. But they're also native and protected, which means exporting them without permits, yeah, that's illegal AF. Authorities believe these lizards were being trafficked to Japan, where rare reptiles can go for thousands on the black market. It's not just shady, it's super cruel. These lizards were stressed out, dehydrated, and lucky to be alive when they were found. If you're trying to ship lizards like Amazon packages, you're gonna get caught. Wildlife smuggling isn't just risky, it's trash behavior. These dudes thought they could pull a fast one, but instead, they got clapped by customs. Number 3. Freddy's glove gets grounded. Apparently, Someone thought it'd be chill to toss Freddy Krueger's glove with actual metal blades into their carry-on. TSA, in classic buzzkill, or safety first, fashion, shut that dream down fast. The iconic horror prop didn't even make it past security before being snatched away like a bad sequel idea. This eerie encounter went down at a U.S. airport where agents opened a bag and found the infamous glove straight out of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Not plastic, not foam, real metal blades. It was giving full slasher energy at 30,000 feet. Honestly, what was the plan? Slash peanuts mid-flight? Whether it was a collector flex or someone taking cosplay way too seriously, TSA wasn't playing around. They took one look at those finger knives and said, "Sir, this isn't Spirit Halloween." Security risk? Big time. Freddy might haunt dreams, but TSA protects the skies. The glove was promptly confiscated, and the traveler shuffled off, now minus one terrifying fashion statement. Forget Nightmare on Elm Street. This was a nightmare at Gate C-17. Hope they enjoyed their in-flight movie, probably something not involving homicidal sleep demons. Let this be your official reminder. If your carry-on includes anything that could double as a horror weapon, maybe rethink your packing strategy. TSA doesn't care if it's a prop. If it's sharp, it's grounded, because nothing kills the vibe of a HorrorCon weekend like watching your $300 glove get bagged by airport security. Number 2. Grenade scare in paradise. Honolulu Airport was thrown into full lockdown after TSA agents discovered grenades in a passenger's checked bag. Not replicas, not props, real explosives on what was supposed to be a tropical getaway. Here's how it all went down. Security scanners picked up something that looked super sus inside a man's bag. TSA agents cracked it open and boom, grenade-shaped objects staring back at them. Instant red alert. Authorities shut down the area, called in the bomb squad, and got everyone out of there fast. Thankfully, the devices turned out to be inert, as in not active explosives. But still, even fake or deactivated grenades are a massive no-go in airports. Doesn't matter if it's a souvenir, paperweight, or a war relic. If it looks like it can blow up, TSA's not taking chances. The guy was detained and questioned, and the airport operations got back on track after a few hours. But not before passengers were seriously shook and probably missing their flights. Bringing grenades to an airport? That's not cool. That's a whole federal problem. You want to bring drama to paradise? TSA is going to shut it down. Next time, maybe just grab a lei and chill. Number 1. Cat in the case. The X-ray showed something strange, something moving. TSA agents at JFK stopped the bag, popped it open, and found a live ginger cat tucked inside, like a furry little stowaway trying to fly to Florida. This wasn't a cartoon. It was real, and it could have gone horribly wrong. Here's the full story. The suitcase was packed, zipped, and already checked in when it hit the X-ray machine. But one agent noticed an odd shape, tail, paws, movement. Definitely not your usual toiletries. They opened the bag and boom, a very confused, very alive cat stared back at them. The wildest part? It wasn't even the traveler's pet. The passenger said the cat, named Smells, yes, really, must have climbed into the luggage at home without them noticing. That's either the sneakiest feline ever, or someone needs to check their suitcase packing skills. Thankfully, TSA caught it before the bag was loaded onto the plane. Had it gone through, Smells would have ended up in a freezing, unpressurized cargo hold, no food, no air, no chance. So yeah, this accidental adventure could have turned tragic. TSA safely returned Smells to their very relieved family, and the traveler made their flight minus one stealthy stowaway. But let this be a lesson. Before you zip that suitcase, look inside. Cats love boxes, bags, and any tight spot they can squeeze into. Smells got lucky. Next time, could be heartbreaking. Pack wisely. Pets don't belong in cargo, especially not by surprise. Thanks for watching. If that blew your mind, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more wild airport finds. Drop a comment. What's the craziest item you've ever packed?